Hey guys, welcome to the Editing Bar, the channel that brings you writing tips that make sense. I decided to do another editing sprint because I wanted to. I had time available and I like spending time with you guys. So, even if it's me just talking to myself, that sometimes happens and I'm okay with it. I've gotten used to the talking to myself. And yeah, it's sad. It's a sad day. Anyway, just to kind of give you guys some general announcements that have kind of been going on. Right now, I have down in the show notes a link to my free writing template. So if you guys didn't know beforehand that I have a free writing template, not only does the little scrolly thing down here tell you, but also it's down in the show notes. And what that is designed to do is actually designed to help you guys write faster. You can actually tweak it a little bit to edit faster as well. I haven't officially created the template for it, but it is there. Hey, Aphrodite. Welcome. Super excited to see you. Going to be doing the same kind of editing sprints that I've been doing. I've done once before. Also, I am trying to get enough people to have on Monday another opening paragraph critique stream. So if you know anybody who would be interested in doing that, right now I have 2, and I need at least 5 to kind of make the time of setting aside the 2 hours there worth it. So if you know anybody who would like to have their the book's opening paragraph reviewed, the form link is down below. And it is super easy. A couple of questions and you're good. That's it. And then I review it. Thank you, Aphrodite. I appreciate that. Every little bit helps. And I really want to review them. Like I really want, I want to have the opportunity to review other people's stuff and talk about it live because it's awesome. So what was the other thing? There was something else. What was it? I don't remember. I also have the writing class. I'm just kind of info dumping a little bit of the announcements that I've been putting off for a couple of weeks now. So trying to get it out. I also have my writing course available that is still free. So at checkout, if you use the coupon WRITE, as in right now, all caps, you get in for free to the Bard Storytelling Academy. That is also down there. And it is, the course is specifically about writing fantasy. I have other courses in the works. They are not yet completed, but wanted to give you guys that as well. Okay. So editing, I'm doing some editing for, not myself this time. I did it last time for somebody else. Oh, cool. You got the course. Awesome. Yeah. Please let me know what you think. I love getting feedback on it. So yeah, whenever you finally are able to have that time, let me know. Hey, doll. Glad to see you. Everybody's starting to trickle in. I was just kind of filling everybody in, doll, on kind of all the happenings of the Bard. Doing the writing course that I have. I have the free writing template that helps you write faster and more effectively. And I'm pretty sure those were the only things. I'm doing another stream tomorrow that is all about can fan fiction make you a better author, which is a highly debated, very, very debated issue for a lot of writers because they you either love fan fiction or you absolutely despise it and you think it's the lowest form of creation. So Katya mentioned that she would beat me severely if I spoke out against it. And the good news is that I'm actually a huge advocate for it. And I've added another friend to the stream. And so super excited. So it's going to be me and 3 others talking about fan fiction and all of the awesomeness that's going to happen. Other big announcements. Guys, oh wait, there's comments. Let me see. Dal, the fantasy course, but the link did not work for me. I should try it again. Yes, Dal, try it again. There was some sort of funky error with that link. I don't know what happened, but it should be fixed. The one down in the show notes right now should be fixed. And if it tries to charge you full price, just put in the coupon. And if that still doesn't work, just get in contact with me, and then I'll get you squared away. May have to slip away during this to do a rewatch if that happens. No worries. It's going to be just editing sprints and some conversation, talk shop, editing talk in between. Hey, Sako. Here, I'm going to put it in the chat right now, Dal. Coupon. No, it wasn't AuthorTube. Yes. Thank you, Aphrodite. You nailed it. That one. Yes, definitely that one. Perfect. Okay, so got that one in there. Other super exciting announcements. I have okay, I'm super excited about these upcoming streams, and I have to stay focused while I tell you this because I get so excited. So I'm actually in the process of getting some author interviews lined up with former students of mine. A couple of them are through New Degree Press. If you guys remember Shanda from a couple weeks back. So 4 of my students have officially finished publishing their book and are available. And so I'm actually going to be interviewing them over the next coming weeks. And it's going to be the same thing, live stream, talking all about their experience, their books, which are they're fantastic books on grieving, how to process our grief and still find joy in life after that or through the process of grieving. Gratitude. One's on tech literacy and how it's so important for young people to have technical literacy and not what the schools define as tech literacy, because typing really has nothing to do with it. So those are going to be exciting. One of my coaching students that I'm working with through my business, we're setting up right now a time to talk in 2 weeks on a Friday about her process of writing this book that she's working on. The title is Good Enough, and it's about her recovery from eating disorder, body dysmorphia, anorexia, exercise addiction, like all this. This is her recovery story, and absolutely amazing stuff. So I'm so excited to be able to help support former students, current client, and introduce them to you guys, because you guys are all pretty fantastic. I mean, let's be honest here. So very, 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 very excited for those things. So those will be coming up in the next couple of weeks, and you'll see me posting a lot about that. Try not to spam everybody. Okay. Editing. Let's get into the first editing sprint. What are you guys thinking? You want to do 15, 20 minutes? Thoughts? I'm trying to open it up here. 15. So we got 115, 20. Oh man. Okay. Trying to get my stuff opened up right. Let's see. Where are we at? We're at 3. Let's start with 15. We'll start there, and not an hour and a half. Oh my lord, that would be a long time. Way too long. Okay. I'm going to get this screen tab thingy shared. Okay. All right, guys. We are going to have a editing sprint starting in 3, 2, 1. Oh wait. Just kidding. Set. Okay. Now we 3, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Well, we have officially blown the C4. That was my first time using that one. That one was pretty fun. I don't mind that. All right. How did everybody do? How did we do for editing? I got right now I'm editing some of my students' work, and I'm roughly halfway through the chapter. It's not nearly as intensive as an edit on like my own because I'm not having to like rewrite. A lot of it's just kind of going through and pointing out like, hey, you've used these names back to back, so many times. So you can fix that there. You can do this here. So it's more like little tweaks. So I'm not necessarily editing huge chunks of words, but all right, Aphrodite's researching. What are you doing research for? Woohoo! Go Dal. Hey, what now? Welcome to the madness. That was your sprint, Dal. It's well, you're in. You're ready to go. That's always good. It's always a party when Sean shows up. That is for darn sure. How's everything? Research everywhere. The that's for your the novel that you're working on right now, right, Sean? All the research that you're doing. Trying to remember what it was that you were working on, because remember you talked about research recently. Bard, my big issue with my fantasy story idea is that I have no plot. That's okay, Dal. That is a-okay, and I will tell you why. Because this bearded beauty right here has come up with the worksheets. The worksheets and the plot donut worksheet in particular is going to be of great help to you. I literally break it down so much when talking about the plot. And the brainstorming worksheet is going to help you get the different ideas for it if you need to. But that plot worksheet is really going to help kind of nail down some of those things. And if I didn't, I don't remember if I put a PDF on there or if I put the Word document itself. If it's a PDF, Dal, I'll get you the Word document because you should be able to open it and it should be able to read it back to you. Oh, wait. Chat's caught up. What now says it is. I just keep finding more. The Life of Shakespeare one. I won't use half of it, but yeah, Bearded Beauty does come with the worksheets. It's one of those things that I have to like kind of play on the down low. It's the secret. It's the super secret sauce that makes it all work together. I can imagine that if you missed one thing in term for Shakespeare, it probably would come back and bite you in the butt. Sorry that you have to do that much research for it. Here, and I have all my characters, my lovely disabled Valkyries, but I have no plot for them to follow. Go through the brainstorming worksheet. Seriously, go through the brainstorming worksheet. Then work through the step by step, because I walk you step by step through the process of brainstorming plot concepts, plot ideas. Then you can go and do the plot donut, which will actually walk you step by step through filling out whatever one you decided on in the brainstorming worksheet, because I have you boil it down. So that will help you a lot. Character is plot. Dal says, what now? Emotional and thematic progression is as good as any drama. Yeah, totally. Am I not writing about him? There you go. Yeah, I saw there was a bunch of stuff on Twitter and I just ignored it because it's Twitter. Yes, Dal, it will make you hungry, which is exactly why I put the caveat at the beginning of that worksheet saying that I am not responsible for any binge eating of donuts that you do as a result of this worksheet. Because hey, Heather, welcome. Because I built the worksheet because I was hungry and donuts was what I was craving. And so I literally walked through. So it's like, I do it like step by step. So like you have the donut, then you add the chocolate, and then you add the sprinkles. The sprinkles is where it comes together. It all comes together and it's just magnifique. Absolutely great. Anybody have any editing questions? Or just, may I recommend the plot pretzel? That sounds more like what you're working on right now, Sean. Is the plot pretzel with all of the intricate weaves that you're required to have for this story. Yeah, although a client of mine had actually given me the idea for pizza, but there were too many toppings and I wanted to keep it relatively simple, so I just went with donut. It is. I am in a delicious salty hell. Yeah, that sounds about right. Dal, you have a question? Yes. Let's hear it. Let's do this thing. I'm ready. That's why I got my awesome writing shirt on. I'm either writing or thinking about it. I'm doing it. Absolutely sleep deprived. It's okay. It is totally okay. Oh man, editing epiphany today. Oh, I'm excited about this. I love editing epiphanies. Those are so much fun. Yep. Dual POV. I'm following. I'm with you. I'm tracking. Mind melding here. We've entered Bardception. So excited. The anticipation. Thank you, Heather. I think my mom and my wife have like tag teamed on getting me a bunch of awesome writing shirts. So I think this one might have been from Amazon. I'm trying to remember. If I hadn't had worn my Behind This Beard is an Awesome Writer shirt for 2 days in a row, I would have worn that one for the stream. But I also wasn't planning on doing this. I was just like, hey, you know what? I have time and I need motivation. So I'm going to use you guys. Okay, here's the question. I see it now. So chapter 3 of my book, it switches from main character 1 to a third minor character who shows up in the rest of the novel, but never again as a POV. Okay. So brain is like, change this. Okay. I'm tracking. And it's thinking of ways to narrate the chapter from only the second main character. Okay. I'm following. And I still have to do my, I promised you a POV, a multi-POV video, Dal. I have failed miserably on that. So I may just have to do a live stream because I'm much more motivated to do live streams right now than I am to spend like 4 hours editing a 30-minute video. Only from the first and second MCs. Okay, so only having the 2 POVs, taking away the third one. Yes, I would agree with that. I 100% agree with that, Dal. If they only show up once, nix them. I had another client of mine who they did So they had a fairly large cast, actually. So with that large cast, what ended up happening was there was a character who had a level of importance, but the problem with it is that because she had more plans for one of the other characters, it actually kind of ate into that character's POV and personality. So this guy would get one chapter and then it would go a really long time, and then we'd get another chapter and then it'd be a really long time, and then we'd get another chapter. And when I asked her about it, I'm like, okay, what's this guy's level of importance in the book overall? What is he doing? And she was like, not a whole lot. Like this other character does more. I'm like, okay, then show me that character, because I don't see the character growth that he ends the book with anywhere else in the book. And so I basically told her that she needed to write out an entire character's point of view and make it solely from the other character's point of view. And that's absolutely what you should do. If you're not going to be integrating characters consistently, show them from one of the main characters. In my book, I have 6 people who get POVs, which it'll be fun seeing how I managed to work this out in just like roughly 70,000 words. You don't want to muddy the waters too much with a one-off POV. If they're going to have multiple POVs throughout the book, that makes sense. If you're setting them up for having a larger role in, let's say, another book, and you have a couple very sporadic chapters with their POV in it, then you could probably fudge it. But if you can show them from the other main character's point of view, I would just do that. Okay, let's see. Getting caught up on chat. Yeah, Heather, I do have something very similar to that as a shirt. I love that shirt. Oh my gosh, this thing jumps and then I lose track. Throughout the whole book, but never. Yeah, if he doesn't have eyes on the story, I probably wouldn't. Sean, I suppose that would depend on what information 3 would offer, and if it couldn't be given any other way or redistributed. Mind you, if you 86 one-shot POV everywhere, you'd have to hack off all the prologue, epilogues, and a song. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can make it work. That's the thing. You can make it work. It just depends on what you want to do with it. If you have a plan and a structure for it, then it can work. So, for example, in Stephen R. Lawhead's book, In the Region of the Summer Stars, he actually has periodic one-shot, one-off character POVs in present tense when all of the rest of the book is third person. Omniscient at that. It irritated me a bit. But there was a certain flow to it that worked. I don't know how, but it did. I'll chalk it up to Celtic sorcery or Fey sorcery. Let's see. I mostly have these 2, but the minor third one has quite a big importance. Thing is, I could still find a way to show this character. I guess what you want to do is you can either make it so that way the main characters cannot possibly see what this person is showing, which gives them a level of importance. And I guess the way that I look at it is that if I'm going to show someone or give a character a POV, what I don't want to have happen is the readers getting attached to that character and then never hearing from their side of the story again. That's my own personal thing. I mean, I'm cruel and I do a lot of horribly angsty things to my poor characters and my readers, but there are certain limits that I don't even go to. For instance, I was talking with one of my students and they were like, here's just a little bit of angst. I'm like, no. Shh, watch this, do this, all of the angst, just get it all out, just all of it. And I mean, she liked the idea, but her readers probably won't. Let's see. It's when I needed something dreadful, horrifying to happen, but I can't afford to kill the main character. See, that's a good way to do it. It's a one-off. So if you're killing him off, who cares? They're not going to be around. They're not around long enough for him to be liked. I mean, POV 3 shows up again as a POV in book 2, and there I can't get rid of her for sure. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. So, I mean, if you're going to set up a character's POV and they're going to play importance later and you want to kind of give a foretaste of what that's going to be like, you could do that. Yeah, absolutely. You can have them in there and, see what happens. And the thing is that if you, once you're finished with it and you hand it to a beta reader to read over and look and see how the flow is, and then ask them specifically, like, what did you think about this character? Get their input, get their feedback. See if they were like, it was great, but here were these reasons why I don't know why they're there. Versus like, yeah, I loved them, and it was kind of cool to kind of see them, go throughout the story. That could be a way to go. That's, if you want to keep them in there, give it a shot. See what happens. See what some beta reader said. The Angst Shanker. Yes, a little bit. Yeah. I did so much on my own story that I finally needed to get a brace for it. And then, thankfully I was fully supported to, when I helped my student, dump the rest of the Angst Shaker out that she was tentatively holding on to. She had some, and then I just like magnified it by like 1 billion. And as soon as the plot bunny started rolling, it got dark fast. It was just oof. Yeah. It so many things. Beta readers lover. Okay. Brain is like, don't confuse your readers. You're no. Oh, Gur Martin. I'm just gonna go with Gur Martin. It's so much easier. Gur Martin. I mean, you don't have to pull a Gur Martin. You just have to have enjoyable characters. I mean, if the readers like her and they're able to follow along on her story, and you see, and actually come to think of it, one of my characters only has a very short POV. Maybe 2 POVs in the entire book, and one of those may or may not last. But she's also got more importance to play in the second book, so I'm kind of setting her up a little bit. So I would say just keep it and see how it goes. Proudest moment of my life is getting that mime to happen again. You should be proud, Sean. You should be proud. Yeah, I gotta say, like the angst factor that I tend to lovingly shove upon my students, it rubs off. I mean, it really does. Like, they're like, well, how about this? I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. I love that. You feels, you're like, oh, angst. That's good. And then I'm like, and what if we did this? And they were just like, oh, you genius. And then they start writing. It's great. Let's see. My mind is just a bit overloaded with that advice of use the POV of the character who is most vulnerable. I tend to overthink stuff. You know, the best writing advice that I have received was don't write how you think you have to write. Write how you enjoy writing. And I have used that a lot for my students. I've reminded myself of that. And I came across that when I had gone back to doing fan fiction because I was no longer happy writing my story. And this was the massive trilogy before I even got to the one that I'm currently working on. I had plotted it into the ground. I wasn't happy with it. I didn't enjoy writing anymore. So I said, screw it. So I went back to doing what I enjoyed doing. And then I got back into fan fiction. As I started writing how I enjoyed writing, rather than trying to be Tolkien, which is what I totally was trying to do. I was trying to do a very Tolkien-like story. I realized that I write better when I don't do that. And B, my target demographic is actually YA, which is not what I had planned on initially. I was thinking like some like genius, like literary fiction, or I mean, just something just redonkulous that I was going to get some huge award for. And I was just like, these delusions of grandeur, it was just awful. So I stopped writing how I thought I needed to write, and I just wrote how I enjoyed writing. So don't feel like you have to write a certain way, especially if you're in, I don't remember what draft you're in, whether you're in the first draft or not. Try to be Tolkien, end up as C.S. Lewis. Yeah, and I'm totally fine with that. You know, C.S. Lewis is my jam. Yeah, and actually, Aphrodite brings up a great point. Like, I write the way I like to read. I write more how I talk, which is incredibly fast. So there's a lot of dialogue, lots and lots of dialogue. But yeah, the books that I've read are not super in depth. Like, good Lord, I just read Frankenstein for the first time ever in my life. In 30 years of life, I have just now accomplished reading Frankenstein, and there was so much in that hurt my editor brain. It just broke something deep inside of me. Like, every rule that I know of to not do was in there. And I was like, why? Like, obviously, like, I understand completely different context, but it was, oh, yeah. Wait, I'm assuming that I'm missing something since you're being followed everywhere by Frankenstein. But I like, seriously, like, I read through it. I didn't even know I was in the book because I was reading about this Walton guy. And I'm like, who the heck is Walton? Why do I care about Walton? The answer is I don't. And then Frankenstein was just the worst. Just the worst. I mean, I enjoyed Frankenstein's monster than I enjoyed Frankenstein. And I'm pretty sure Frankenstein actually had COVID because dude had a fever like all the time. Dude was sick constantly. Just throwing it out there. Let's see. I do tend to be a bit can't talk at this point in the day. I do tend to be a dialogue heavy girl, but I do go back and beef up description. Yeah, I usually have to go back and do that. Yeah, it's very true. And I was having to remind myself of that. It was just more of some of the formatting things. And I was just like, yeah. I was trying to get out of editor brain just to read it. So there was a lot of me just kind of working through that. Hey, I love the monster. It was Frankenstein I had issues with. The monster was awesome. He was my favorite part of the whole book. His like 18 chapter monologue was fantastic. And I'm being a little sarcastic there. And Frankenstein are both men pushed to the edge of destruction by the pursuit. Yeah, and like I get it. I just not having ever read it before. I actually skipped through the letter to the second letter before I realized that I was actually in the book and not like some weird like a forward or preface thing. And so then I had to go back and start over and then read through. Yeah. Yeah, he was an interesting character. Don't overthink writing. Ooh. Waiting for it. Thing moves so slow when it's trying to update. There it goes. I once had cause to ask my professor why I couldn't write a literary novel that was full of dinosaurs. She didn't have an answer. That's awesome. I think there should be dinosaurs in literature. Did you watch the take on Penny Dreadful, Victor? No. Never saw Penny Dreadful, actually. Well, I mean, I saw previews. That was about it. Mainly because I don't have TV. So that makes it difficult. Okay. I'm going to throw this out there to you guys, and then we'll jump into another writing sprint. So I actually want to give you guys a little bit of a tidbit on how you can edit faster while not losing out on like efficiency. Because I feel like sometimes people will trade that off, like they're less efficient, but they're getting through the book faster. And that's not good. Like you don't want your efficiency to go down. You want your efficiency to go up. You also ideally would like the time to go up. So that way you're not spending like just ridiculous amounts of time trying to do that. So, and this goes back to the beginning of the stream for those of you who weren't there, where I talked about the free writing template, which I'm not even gonna, the free editing template down below. I actually have not built the editing template yet. I know how to transfer it from one to the other. But essentially what you want to do is you want to do something very similar to the writing template in that you edit for an hour and you set a timer for an hour and you go through and you start editing and you see how many pages you get through in that hour. Then when you're done, you can say, when you go to schedule time, I know exactly how many hours I need to edit X amount of words or X amount of chapters. And what you can then do is build out a reasonable timeline for yourself. This is how my students and my clients have all been words. They've all managed to finish their first drafts in 3 months. Completed first drafts, not even fugly first drafts either, like really good, solid first drafts in 3 months using this writing template. The editing template is something that is very similar in terms of the setup. It walks you through a lot of the same motions. You understand what your number is for editing. So Sorry, felt like I had a spider on my leg and there was about to be a high-pitched squeal happening, but thankfully we've avoided that. So the first step is you plan an hour, you sit down for that hour, and you edit. You do nothing but edit. You don't try and speed through. You know where you're at in the edit. If you're doing a developmental, if you're trying to do some copy and fixing some of the grammar stuff, you take your time, you do it well. At the end of that, you look at how many pages you were able to edit. You don't go by the word count so much for the editing process as you do for the writing. You go by the page. Then you look at, okay, how many pages is my book? Let's say 250 pages. You then break it down like, okay, I know that this is how many hours it takes me to edit X amount of pages. How many hours a week do I have available to do this? Then you look at, okay, I have this amount of hours every week to set aside, to make time for, not magically find, set aside time. You make the time. Once you've established that and you know, like, okay, I'm going to be able to get through this many pages and it's going to take me approximately this long to do. Once you have that, then you're able to start breaking down the process even more and refining it to match your style and the type of editing that you're doing. So me edit the dirtiest 4-letter word. Yes, talk to me about editing. You know, it's I'll never be 100% good with grammar editing because Tal's brain is constantly shut down. Well, you are learning a lot of different languages, so like I can totally understand that. And really, like when like for right now, like for instance, the last time I did the editing sprints, which we're going to get into another one here shortly. I was editing my work, but I was only getting like 3 paragraphs done. That was a little bit shorter. I know that on average, I can get through, if I sit down and like dedicate myself to it, I will get approximately I might get halfway through 3,000 words in 2 hours ish. It depends on the how much rephrasing and rewriting I have to actually do in between that. So I know that when I sit down, it's going to take me about 2 hours to get about halfway through a chapter. So those are things to keep in mind. But I know that. So when I sit down and I do that, it's a lot easier because I can sit down and just be like, all right, I know exactly what I got to do. I know exactly how far I'm going to get. If I can, I try and finish a chapter. But since I'm kind of beefing some of them up, not happening as often. So just keep that in mind. But that's kind of an easy way to start getting into an editing routine, because a routine is so important and having an editing process is so important. That is what I've seen many of the authors that I've worked with, what they're lacking is they're lacking a process that they can follow consistently, which is why I created the template for writing and why I will be eventually creating the editing template. Because when you have a process that you can fall back on again and again and again, it makes it so much easier because your brain gets trained in that and it knows and it starts working faster and more efficiently. Okay, so yeah, you never find the time, you have to make it. It's one of the golden rules of writing that no one can avoid. As much as we try, you won't find time. And what I do is I on Google Docs, like if you guys saw my calendar, like it's color coded and the entire week has blocks. Like the whole week is blocked out. Thursdays are all calls with my students. Fridays I have calls with my clients. Mondays I have some calls with my clients. I have time set aside to doing notes for the clients. and then I have two days of just editing that I have blocked out. So, and it's because I've made time for it. It's so important to do that. Yeah, you don't have to be 100% good at grammar editing. That's why other people are better at it. That's why I want someone to work on it. I genuinely don't remember doing my final effort edit. That's up to my therapist to dig out. I mean, sometimes it's okay to block those things out. All right, let's go ahead and do another editing sprint or researching or whatever it is that you are working on. I'm going to switch the banner now so that way I don't forget because I continually do so. Let's just do another 15-minute sprint. And let's see. There we go. All right. On your mark, get set, go. Kaboom. All right. So another 15 minutes. Hopefully it wasn't too terribly loud for you all. How'd it go? What'd you guys get done? I'm getting closer to finishing my students' last bit if it wasn't quite so glitchy. Not sure what's up with that, but just about finished. Or yeah, I'm just about finished. So what'd you guys get done? Get any more of research done, plotting, planning, plots within plots, Machiavelli machinations? Anything good? I don't think I shared the photo with you guys. I think I shared it on Twitter. So if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, then you probably wouldn't have seen it. But last Saturday was absolutely beautiful out. It was close to 70. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take some time. I'm going to work on my story and do some editing. So I actually wrote a whole new chapter from the villainess, who is very, very scary, and started editing chapter 14. I got about halfway through, and then I had to do so much rewriting. But yeah, I was out in my hammock. My wife got a hammock for like $3 from the thrift store. And so I was just like chilling out in the hammock, just like rocking back and forth and just soaking up some sun. It was amazing. It felt so good. Okay. Chat's starting to come in. Writing a mini synopsis of my novel so that the person creating character cards for me has a better feel of the tale. Nice. I like it. Just like I won't change the official document yet, but just in case, see which chapter reads better afterward. It's always good. I always save multiple drafts. So like I will always have like my first draft completed, whole version. And then I save another draft 2. But I don't re-edit the same document. I actually just create new copies to work with. I don't do it. Villainess, that reminds me. Ooh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love villainess. I love a good villainess. Mine is it's pronounced, to the best of my knowledge, Bavancy. Not French. It's actually the Scottish Banshee. And they are freaking scary. Like, or I think it's technically like a mix between a banshee and a vampire. And that's what I used for the inspiration for Ulcia, who is the villainess in my fantasy novel, and she is straight up terrifying. Even my main guy is terrified of her. Yes, save every draft, every time. Most definitely. Most definitely. Oh, well, there's always next time. Always next time. Let's see. There was something that I was going to say. I've been scatterbrained today with everything. Let's see. Yep. Not remembering. It's just gone. Poof. As a reminder, for those of you who I think probably joined afterwards, I need to reach at least 5 paragraphs before I can do my opening paragraph, before I can do my next one. I have it scheduled for Monday. Right now, I think I'm at 3. So if you can find some additional people, if you know people that you're like, hey, would you like to have it reviewed for free? Because that's what I'm doing. The form link is down below in the show notes. So send that to them and say, fill out like the 4 questions and send it in. And then I'll go over it Monday. If not, I have a backup stream planned in the event that happens, which I'm also super excited about. Okay, hold on. Yes, the Scottish Banshee. Bad mamma jammas. Yes, Banshees are terrifying. These ones are even more like, take the scariest Banshee that you know and then ramp it up by 10, and that's the Banshee. Like, they are bad, scary critters. Sending. Sweet. Yes. I'll check the form because I know Lauren had sent me hers before I had the form, so I already have that. And then I haven't checked the form at all today. He's been doing edits and all sorts of other crazy stuff. Yeah, and I want to do as many as I possibly can. But yeah, it's and the thing about the Bavansees, and I don't think yeah, I think I can. Hold on. I'm going to show you Ulcia. So you guys will get to see her freaky face. Let's see. Where are you, Ulcia? There you are. Are you guys ready for this? You guys are going to get to see the villainess. All right, hold on. Gosh, buttons. Share Chrome. There we go. All right, guys, this is Ulcia. More specifically, the one in like the bigger picture. Technically speaking, I can't do the correct picture because it's not on the interwebs. But if you can imagine that her right eye is red and her left eye is like a violet color, that is my villainess. That is Ulcia. And she is very, very scary. Now, if you guys have never seen Art Breeder before, let me just say that it's pretty freaking fantastic. So I created this character. The cool part is like, if you go to edit genes, yes, Ace, Sills, welcome. Well, I mean, she's not like physically scary. That's actually what makes her scary. But the cool part is that you guys can actually like play around. Like, you can make it more like concept arty. I mean, like, you can like really distort it. You can make it look like a real person. You can like girlify or just turn it into a dude. Like, you can do a lot of really cool stuff with Art Breeder. So yeah, if you guys have never heard of Art Breeder, definitely check it out. So so artbreeder.com. Let me see if it'll let me. Should let me do it because I'm the admin. Yes, it is free. You can pay for it, but you don't need to. Like, I've literally created like an entire catalog of my characters for free. I don't know if it has a mobile app. You can probably use the mobile browser, but I have not tried it, mainly because my cell phone is always like off, like the data is always off. Yes, well, kind of all only faces. So let me give you like a quick rundown. So if you go to create, you can actually do characters. So you can actually like mix images together to create like new like characters. So let's just do this one and this one and this one. That's actually probably that's probably the coolest one that I've been able to actually come up with. And you can like adjust it and adjust like how it looks and stuff. The creature ones, yeah, you can make characters. They are a little bit trickier because sometimes you just end up with whatever the heck this is. You just end up with some really weird stuff most of the time. And so I don't play around with the characters a lot. I actually focus more on like the actual portraits. So you go to portraits and mix images. So then you can just go and take different faces. So these faces are all just from other people. So bam, see, it just made a face. And maybe I wanted to, and like you can do some weird stuff with it. So this is called Art Breeder. It's pretty amazing. Oh, bye, Heather. Have fun on the stream. Sorry, I didn't see you. Didn't see it. Let's see. Did I miss anything else? It is more for fantasy. They do have sci-fi. You can find sci-fi. It's harder. But the hard part with the characters is that it just doesn't usually end up looking right. You can add faces, actually. You can. So you go to not that one, or crap. You go to create, you go to portraits, and then you go to upload, and then you can actually upload your photo. Now it is tricky to say the least, because I did that and I ended up with these abominations. This is Bart. I don't know why Art Breeder gives me hair. But this is Bart. This is more specifically, this is Lord Bart, and I troll my friends on Discord with this face. But yeah, it just does weird stuff at times. I don't know why, but it is a lot of fun. So like these are just some random characters that I made. This is, oh, there's my other character. I wondered where she went. So this is my sassy assassin Branwyn from my story. And then just having to think really hard about it. There we go. This is Trinia. She's the main female MC in the book. And I haven't gone in to Pixlr and like made her eyes silver, because that's technically her hair. Her race has silver hair and silver irises, and I just haven't gone through and done it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, guys. Like for real, it is a black hole through in which that you will just fling yourself with abandon, like 100%. Oh, thank you, Aphrodite. Yeah, so there's Branwyn, Batani, Trinia, Udar, Ulcia, Tuathal, Arthfael, somebody, Jaden, Cow. It's kind of the main. Yeah, Udar is also known as Brodar because he's awesome. Well, actually, this is I'm going to be ending because dinner is going to be here soon. So we managed to get through 2 editing sprints. Talk a little bit about editing. Udar is Irish. Udar is Irish, or at least an Irish name. And Arthfael is Gaelic. I don't remember specifically whether it was Scottish Gaelic or Irish. Tuathal, I'm trying to remember where his stems from, but yeah, I use a lot of Celtic, Scottish, Irish influence for my specifically with this book, this first book. There's a lot of influence. The story is very heavily influenced by those cultures. I'm Irish in part. I'm also less than 1% Maori, as you can tell. Still haven't figured that one out. So, but yeah, that's kind of like a lot of the influences that I have in this book. And I love the names and stuff. So it's been a lot of fun. You should laugh that hard, Sills, because it's awesome. Oh, yes, Aphrodite, I did not see that you had a question. One of my tales starts off with dialogue, so technically the paragraph should be one line. Darn, should I send a page instead? So technically what I've done, or what I've allowed for that is like if the first thing is dialogue, then you can send the second paragraph along with that. If 250 words, let's just say if you can get 250 words roughly, and then I'll kind of pick through depending on how long it fits and if I can get it of a correct size on the PowerPoint slides. Do that. So just put in that stuff and we'll go there with it. I saw a Dow comment somewhere back here. But it's not. Oh, it's gone again. There it is. Yes, you're very welcome, Dow. Happy to answer any and all editing questions. 5 paragraphs, so I'm good. Woohoo! Look at me go. All right, see you later, Aphrodite. And so we will be doing the opening paragraph. Sills, you can get in on this too. Down below, I have a link to the opening paragraph critique that I'm going to be doing on Monday afternoon. So I'll be reviewing different people's stuff. So if you know anybody, let people know. You can copy and paste the link down below that talks about that takes them to the forum. The forum is literally so that way I can remember who has done what, whose story goes where, and so that way I can let them know if I didn't address it, then I can get back in contact with them. That happened with Katya, where she messaged me and she was like, "Did you review my thing?" I was like, "Yeah, I did that like a couple of weeks ago." She didn't know. So this is why I'm doing it. Yeah, so definitely check out those links. And then again, guys, tomorrow I'm going to be doing with Sills actually is going to be a part of that. Oh, Dal, don't worry about punctuation. I ignore it in mine, so don't even worry about it. Sills is actually going to be joining me. This Sills is going to be joining me tomorrow with 2 other of my friends who are Wattpadians, and we'll be discussing the fan fiction. So super sorry. No, it is going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be a nerd fest. I mean, absolutely. It's going to be a hardcore nerd fest. You and I are going to have to try really hard not to dive into Silmarillion level fan fiction. You and I, especially because your fan fiction is amazing. So that is what we're going to be doing. It's going to be on this channel live 8 a.m. tomorrow. Nerdfest. It's going to be awesome. So if you like Nerdfests, make sure that you join. It is going to be fantastic. And I will look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. So as of now, so long, farewell, Auf Wiedersehen, adieu to you and